The applause observed beautifully, as expected by all inside St James's Park, including Kevin Keegan's family and a host of legends from both Liverpool and Newcastle alike. The players sprint together, and now it is time for this grand stadium to hum with a different kind of noise again. A reminder of the lineups one more time before kick-off. For Newcastle United, it's Hornacek in goal. The right back is Dedic. The left back is Hall. Botman and Chow are the two centre-backs. Miley and Sturr hold down the midfield. Alanga and Barnes on the wing. Wissa and Osula up front. For Liverpool, it's Alisson with Jacquet and Virgil van Dijk as centre-backs. Frimpong and Kirk as the full-backs. Szoboszlai and Gravenberch behind Wirtz in midfield. Gakpo, Ungamoa, and the man being greeted by deafening boos, Alexander Isak, leading the line, ready for kick-off. Here we go then, as St James's Park says a poignant and emotional goodbye to Kevin Keegan. The Premier League says hello to the Matthias Jaissler and Andoni Iraola eras at Newcastle and Liverpool, and immediately play stops in this cauldron of noise for a foul on Will Osula.
It's an amazing atmosphere, isn't it? It's so loud. Alexander Isak will certainly have, felt the hatred from the Newcastle fans, but he has to be professional and get on with that, and he has to make that fire him up and go and get a goal. But chance for Newcastle to get the ball into the box early here.
Newcastle United 15 yards over halfway, going from my right to my left, and black and white thick striped shirts, black shorts, black socks, have a free kick just outside the centre circle, clipped forward by the red boots of Lewis Hall. Good area, dropping towards the hands of Alisson, who gobbles it up in his 6-yard box. Liverpool moving from my left to my right in red shirts with white flecks and white Adidas stripes down the shoulder, red shorts and red socks, lumped long towards Florian Wirtz, headed away. Szoboszlai launches it back over the top. It's miskicked by Chow. Plucked out the sky by a good touch from the Hungarian Szoboszlai as he moves through the shadows of St James's Park from right to left. Virgil van Dijk to Jacquet, the debutant. Rolled up the line, Frimpong. Wirtz tees up Jacquet again. Liverpool have played their way out beautifully there, and Wirtz can roam over midfield. Out to the left-hand side, Cody Gakpo has Kirkes taking off outside of him. It's Gakpo drifting in field. Wirtz, edge of the area, good block, Lewis Hall. Cricket-style long barrier, dropped his right knee down to deny Wirtz from the edge of the area. Good early pressure from Liverpool.
That was a lovely move, wasn't it? Started on the edge of their own box, some nice one-touch, two-touch passing, gets at the edge of the box. Wirtz has time to set himself and get his shot away, but as you say, excellent defending by Lewis Hall.
Thrown forward by Newcastle, looking for Osula. Cleared away. Was a very talented cricketer, Lewis Hall, in his younger days, hence the long barrier. Left-handed bowler for the Binfield Village Cricket Club. A few that have combined both sports down the years. Thrown down the line to Osula again, backing in against Jacquet, who swivels out of that traffic beautifully. Ungamoa can't keep it in play. It's very frantic at the moment as the ball's flipped up aerially once more. No one yet showing any signs of bringing this down for either side. Eventually Wissa does. He's barged into the back off on halfway by Gravenberch. Newcastle have a free kick, which they took too quickly.
I think Newcastle will be happy with it being very frantic at the beginning of the game. They won't want to allow Liverpool to get into any sort of rhythm. In Osula, they've got someone up front who will chase everything down and hassle the likes of Van Dijk and Jacquet and not give them a moment's peace.
Isak only touched the ball for less than a millisecond there as it hit his stud, but still got greeted with boos. Botman looks forward, long diagonal ping to Osula, jumps with Jacquet, easily wins the header, does the French centre-back, and Wirtz plays a lovely ball into Isak, right-hand side of the penalty area, chops round Botman, but Lewis Hall's there to bail out his centre-back partner and clear it long. Rather aimless clearance though by Lewis Hall. Is there a touch too emotional about Newcastle at the moment in possession?
I think there is. I think the crowd have got to the players already, and they're just hurrying things a little bit. Newcastle.
Here's 17-year-old Rio Ungamoa running at Lewis Hall, checking back to Frimpong. Jacquet has the ball, 35 yards from goal, slows to a walking pace. just right of centre, goes back to the right back Frimpong, in field to Gravenberch, lovely touch to start breaking lines. Gravenberch bearing down on goal and looked for a teammate rather than pulling the trigger himself, and now Newcastle could break in number. Alanga screaming for it, Alanga's in, he's 1-on-1 with Alisson in the penalty area and in the back of the net. New manager, new season, Newcastle lead at St James's Park. Anthony Alanga rolling the ball into the bottom left, past the dive of Alisson. A tidy finish after a swift Newcastle break, and I didn't think this place could get any louder, Chris.
Oh, it's incredible, isn't it? What a counter-attack from Newcastle, though. From one end of the pitch to the other, absolutely brilliant. Gravenberch breaks into the box, thinks he probably should shoot. It's one pass into the middle into Osula, and then he's carrying the ball, driving at the two Liverpool centre-backs. He releases the pass at the perfect time for Elanga, who completely outruns Milos Kerkez, gets ahead of him. Then it's about, can he keep his cool? And boy, does he keep his cool. He takes it to about 10 yards out, and he just slots it to the right of Alisson into the bottom left-hand corner of the goal. What a start for Newcastle, what a start for Matthias Geisler.
Well, Newcastle broke from Liverpool's missed chance at the other end. Gravenberch tried to be unselfish, looked to roll it along the edge of the 18-yard box. Newcastle pounced, Osula led the charge, sprinting right down the heart of the pitch, through the middle. Alanga made a run inside of Kerkez, outside of Van Dijk. That's where the through ball went to catch the Swede in stride. From there it was a foot race that he very much won against the Liverpool side, running towards their own goal.
It's incredible.
Right-hand side of the area to bottom left, 1-0. And that has got this place going just as it was before kickoff.
It's incredible, Matt, isn't it? 49 appearances last season, not one goal. And there he is, 5 minutes into the new season, and he gets one. Now, that must feel great for him.
He had a good World Cup, Anthony Alanga, and many predicted that perhaps he could have a slightly more exciting sophomore season with Newcastle. You were right to mention the wretched time he had here last season, Chris, and he wasn't the only one that struggled last season and then had a great World Cup. In fact, Johan Wissa, the striker, scored as many goals in the World Cup as he did for Newcastle United last season.
They're in a similar sort of position to Liverpool, where they brought in players who just didn't, live up to the hype that was around them.
Left-hand side is Kerkez. Liverpool must respond. Not the type of stadium you want to fall behind. Jacquet, 35 yards out to Frimpong, the right back. Rolled back to Jacquet, prodded between the lines to Cody Gakpo, who's come a long way over to collect the ball. In fact, that is the feet of Ryan Gravenberch. It's another good touch from him, similar to the one that created that goal-scoring opportunity. Szoboszlai in support, trying to weave his way past Sean Sturr. Does so and finds Wirtz. At the byline is Frimpong, crosses low and hard. Isak lets it run, and Alanga clears away, but only as far as Jacquet. And Newcastle need just a bit more of a foothold in possession. Wirtz, good-looking ball to Isak again. This time Botman gets in the way. Barnes all over the back of Wirtz. Liverpool free kick, right of centre, 35 yards out.
Yeah, it's certainly a free kick. He jumps, doesn't he? Leads with his arm. Doesn't catch Wirtz too bad. Oh, he does actually elbow him in the face. I don't think it's a swinging elbow, so I don't think it'll be anything more than just a free kick. But it's a little bit naughty, isn't it?
It's forceful from Harvey Barnes. It's one of those frustrating situations. I can see why the Newcastle fans are upset. What's happened is one player has jumped, one player hasn't. Yeah. But the way that Barnes has come through the back of Wirtz means it's a Liverpool free kick, 10 yards from the right corner of the penalty area. Dominic Szoboszlai standing over an angle to the left of the ball. It'll be an outswinger from the Hungarian. Good area, good header, Van Dijk, but it skims up and goes over, not without the deflection first.
Well, it looked as though the final touch might have come off Van Dijk, but it was really good defending by Sven Botman.
Had to get in the way there. Van Dijk, a towering defender.
Actually, it's good defending. Lewis Miley's in there as well, defending well.
So a Liverpool corner kick coming in from the left-hand side off Dominic Szoboszlai. There's 6 red shirts in the penalty area, and Florian Wirtz waiting at the edge of the D. Newcastle defending zonally. Isak's head is the target, and Lewis Hall meets it first. Wirtz goes to collect in front of the halfway line. Milos Kerkez. Here's Szoboszlai. lofted back into the middle, headed up in the air to Cody Gakpo, rifles one goalward, Chow in the way, and Sean Sturr can bring it to the right wing. Newcastle United trying to escape through Dedic, and he's won himself a throw as well.
Well, Newcastle have defended their box well there. The cross came in initially from the free kick, and then the corner, and then that delivery from Szoboszlai, but Newcastle have stayed strong. Good block from Malik Thiaw, gets across, makes himself big, and then he's able to toe poke it away as well.
Good defending by Malik Thiaw, who is wearing the armband today, wearing the Newcastle United armband of just his second season at the club. That must be some honour. Already mentioned Dan Burn and Joe Linton out, and then when you start looking for senior players, it becomes very difficult indeed.
It does, and I thought he was outstanding last season.
Lofted over the top for Elanga to chase again, and he has pace to burn, and he's making Kirkes' life very, very difficult there. Elanga and Kirkes fighting for it. Kirkes gets the free kick. Anthony Elanga can't believe it. Liverpool fans will be grateful for that. I mean, it looked like Kirkes there, who's no slouch, by the way, was running through treacle with Elanga running home.
We saw on the goal that Elanga has got so much more pace than him. Elanga was behind him and ended up 3-4 yards ahead of him. Again, he's a couple of yards behind him and gets there, and he's more determined to get there. I think it is a free kick. I think he just holds Kirkes back as he was just trying to get up from the initial challenge, but it's certainly an area where Newcastle might get some joy this afternoon.
Elanga by the right corner flag, trying to stop Kirkes driving the other way, and he's in a little bit of discomfort here. Milos Kirkes, he gets back to his feet. 10.5 minutes gone. If you are just joining us on Premier League Live, I'm Matt Drabble. Next to me is Chris Perry. It's Newcastle 1, Liverpool 0. Not the start Andoni Iraola would have wanted to his Liverpool tenure. Wissa heads forward, brought down by Wirtz, but he's accidentally nutmegged his own teammate there, and Kirkes, a frustrated Kirkes, swings Wissa around and throws him to the turf for a Newcastle free kick on halfway. No sign of them slowing down though. I thought there, Chris, they'd put their foot on the ball and say calm down, let's keep it for a bit, and they fired it forward to Harvey Barnes, who turns and plays in Lewis Hall, running for the left corner flag, gets there first ahead of Ungamoa. Right at the byline is Lewis Hall, searching desperately for support, chops it brilliantly to Barnes. Barnes in the penalty area, tees up Wissa. Back to Hall now, nowhere to go with Szoboszlai in his face, and Liverpool have recovered well in the end.
It's the tempo that Newcastle are playing at. It's the tempo that this crowd demand early on, and if you got a goal behind here, it can feel like it's just an absolute tidal wave flowing against you. It's so difficult to play against.
Launch long by Newcastle United. Van Dijk lets it bounce. Out comes Alisson. Wissa from 50 yards. Well, the less said about that effort, the better from Jan Wissa. It's a tough one. It's a full volley from 55 yards.
On his weaker foot as well.
But he's put it out for a throw about 10 yards away from him after Alisson had that headed clearance. It's a real shocker on replay, Chris.
Yeah, I think he'd have much preferred it to be on his right foot, certainly, but he gets it all wrong. He tries to volley it back over the goalkeeper. Ends up coming off his knee, I think.
And about 90 degrees, straight into touch. Alisson rather fortunate that Wissa didn't have time to take a touch there and shoot, because the goal was completely vacated.
They don't look comfortable, Liverpool, at the back, do they? Obviously, it's a new partnership, isn't it? Xhaka and Van Dijk. You know, Konate and Van Dijk have been so good for the last few seasons.
A new partnership, not just a new partnership, really, a completely new back line. Of the Liverpool back line that won the title, only Virgil van Dijk remains, and he's out of contract at 35 this season. Incredible, really. Angled wide to Rio Ungamoa. He's going to look to keep this in play, but even he can't quite get to that. And Newcastle United will have a goal kick through Hornacek. There was a Malik Thiaw slide tackle, or in fact a Dedic slide tackle that led to Newcastle United's goal. Only 3 players touched the ball from Gravenberch at the edge of the 18-yard box.
But it was interesting, I was just looking there how far behind Kirkes Elanga was. Elanga was about 8 yards behind him and absolutely outrun him for the length of the pitch.
Harvey Barnes goes chasing Frimpong, forces him back to Alisson. Lewis Miley brings down the ball, or should have brought down the ball rather, instead heads it straight back to Liverpool. Here's Frimpong opening up his stride over halfway. Miley on the chase. Frimpong looks to the right. Lewis Hall's there again. What a start Lewis Hall's had to this game. Angled wide to the right for Elanga. Will try and keep it in play. but goes just out of touch by the corner flag. Lewis Hall, though, another brilliant step in there. Has he got a point to prove after the World Cup, perhaps?
I think he has. I still think they were right not to take him, but I do think he will be England left back. I think he's got a real chance of being the England left back for a foreseeable future, certainly.
Newcastle United with a throw, midway inside Liverpool territory on the right-hand side. Here's Newcastle that have the lead, if you are just joining us, courtesy of Anthony Elanga. Didn't score in the Premier League last season, did score twice at the World Cup for Sweden. Isak jumps for a header with Chow, wins his header. Wirtz waited for the ball to drop, but Lewis Marley just wanted that an awful lot more than Florian Wirtz. And here comes Sean Sturr, clipped in behind for Elanga, too much on it. A sense of few in black and white, maybe trying to do a little bit too much, but they certainly seem to be enjoying themselves, Newcastle fans and players alike. And a lot has been said about this Sean Sturr, signed from Ajax, just 26 senior appearances.
Yeah, it's incredible, isn't it? It's a real rise, isn't it? But he's obviously a very, very talented young player.
Wissa battling for a loose ball in the middle. Wirtz emerges with it rather fortuitously. Gakpo took far too long and then has a nibble at Dedic, and Newcastle take the free kick quickly to get Elanga moving again. Who else? Anthony Elanga, right wing. Dedic on the overlap. Ball slightly behind him, so Newcastle will slow down all the way to halfway with Sturr. Chow moving from right to left with the ball at his feet, dribbling to the left-hand side as the centre-back before finding Lewis Hall. Doesn't fancy going up the line, so it's back to Botman, and Newcastle now will just have a spell of possession, take some of the energy, the emotion out this game, and they look rather composed doing it. Sturr again, desperate for the ball, wanting the ball, and taking it over halfway, but giving it away to Cody Gakpo. Liverpool will take their turn to break. Ungamoa doesn't have a great deal on at the moment, dribbles into traffic to the long legs of Lewis Miley, escapes away and finds Frimpong, the right back. Back to Ungamoa, just right of centre. Isak has the ball on the right. I don't really need to tell you that Isak has the ball, because you can hear before I say his name, I'm sure. Left-hand side of the back line is Virgil van Dijk, finds Florian Wirtz, but Liverpool not really going anywhere with their possession at the moment. Well, they are going somewhere. They're going all the way back to Alisson, 45 yards away. Springing forward again, though, with Jeremy Jacquet. Space ahead of the centre-back from Ron. Guided to the right wing. Ungamoa, one-on-one with Lewis Hall. Will try and take him into the penalty area, to the byline. Ungamoa scoops it up, dropping towards Isak. It's allowed to bounce over Isak's head. Takes it wide to the left wing. Throwing a step over at Dedic. Elanga comes to nibble in. Nowhere for Isak to go. He's in a bit of a muddle. Finds Kerkez with room to cross. Kerkez delivers. Gakpo can't control. Wirtz can. Hornacek gets a touch and flicks it away with a strong left hand. Well, finally, it's taken 18 minutes, but Liverpool have had a clear-cut chance. And it was hammered goalward. A snapshot from the left-hand side of the penalty area from Florian Wirtz, and Hornacek was alive to it.
It's a really good save from Hornacek. Wirtz hits it, comes through bodies, past Thiaw, past Gakpo, and he doesn't see it till late, and it's a really strong left hand.
Corner kick from Soberslai from the right, diving at it was Van Dijk, and Kerkez sends it into orbit. It's a big old stadium, St James's Park. He might just have cleared it.
It's certainly a big stand to clear that one. The Newcastle fans in it, the Gallowgate end. A little bit better from Liverpool there. A little bit of sustained pressure. Managed to force a save from Hornacek, and it was an excellent one.
And I tell you what, on replay as well, that was an even better save. You're spot on, Chris. That bounced horribly in front of him, and he had to whip his left hand up
really
to get a fingertip on that ball to stop it nestling in the corner from Florian Wirtz. Alisson, edge of his 6-yard box, thumps it long toward the right wing. Miley, a really strong header that from Lewis Miley against a physical player in Dominic Soberslai. A sense among many that this could be a big old season for young Lewis Miley at 20 years old. Broke through under Howe, then quickly fell out of favour once Tonali's suspension was over. and now has a chance to prove himself again.
Well, and I think in the position that he's played all the way through the academy, you know, in that central midfield role where he came in, played a lot of his football at right back last season. But always been a central midfielder that they've thought really highly of at Newcastle.
At the feet now of Sven Botman, had his battles with injury and non-selection. Lewis Hall gives it away. Down the line to Isak, popped in field to Szoboszlai, intercepted by Lewis Miley, who has Dominic Szoboszlai's number at the moment, but that's won back well by Kerkez. Driving goalward as Milos Kerkez runs into his own teammate Szoboszlai, and they made a right hash of that. Liverpool stole possession in midfield. He's going too fast for his own brain there. Kerkez ran straight into the back of Szoboszlai.
Yeah, Kerkez is one of those players that once he gets up a head of steam with the ball, and once he's running at pace, he just needs to slow down a little bit and get his head up and see the picture. He often runs into trouble.
Newcastle United looking to reverse history today as well. They are winless in 19 against Liverpool. That goes back to a game here, St James's Park, 2015, 2-0 win. Martin Skirtle own goal and Gigi Wijnaldum for Newcastle United secured the victory for the Magpies that day. It's been that long since they last beat Liverpool. Don't want that game run to stretch to 20. It's the second worst run against anyone compared to a 22-game run against Manchester City, also in the 2000s, given away by Johan Wissa. It's going to be a Liverpool free kick, 5 yards shy of the halfway line, left-hand side, which they will look to take quickly into Dominic Szoboszlai. Rolled back to the middle for Xhaka. Gravenberch, a couple of nice touches on the half-turn already for Ryan Gravenberch. He gets the ball moving to Gakpo on the left wing. Here's Kerkez on the overlap at the byline, looking for Isak in the middle. Palmed away by Hornacek, but finally a fantastic bit of interplay by Liverpool. They brought Kerkez in behind wonderfully there with a through ball on the overlap, and then the ball was cut out by the goalkeeper Hornacek.
Newcastle are sitting back and allowing Liverpool to have possession now in their half of the pitch, trying to make it difficult to have that space in behind for Liverpool to take advantage of.
It was almost a moment of magic by Rio Ngamoa, who rouletted between two Newcastle defenders, but Hall recovered well to cut it out. Xhake's given it away rather carelessly, though. This could spell trouble for Liverpool. Wissa holds it up. Lewis Miley should have gone to Elanga in the centre circle, but goes back to Malik Chow. And the tune will build again from their back line. Cries of man on for Chow as Sean Stern finds the feet of Hornacek. Sven Botman up to the halfway line. Wissa with his back to goal. Pops it back to Miley, who digs out a lovely curling ball to the right wing for Dedic. Up against Kerkez. Here comes Dedic, the debutant. Dedic striking from the angle, and Kerkez lunging in front of it to deflect it over the top. Good positive play from the right back. Couldn't find the back of the net on that occasion.
Let's talk about this pass from Lewis Miley, though. 70-yard crossfield pass, absolutely inch perfect. Dedic tries to take Kerkez on the outside, who defends well but gives away the corner.
Really had no choice but to shoot then. There wasn't a great deal of options on as someone throws a ball at Alexander Isak. I'm not sure how they've managed to get hold of that in the stands. They waited until Isak came back to defend and then threw it onto the pitch. It's going to be an in-swinger from the right-hand side. Thankfully it didn't hit the Swede. But for Newcastle United, Hall to take, scoop towards Wissa, attacked by Gakpo, who sends it long. Out to Harvey Barnes on the left wing, coming off that fantastic season for Harvey Barnes. Really the standout player for Newcastle United last campaign. 16 goals, 6 assists. They've given it away cheaply there, though. No one in Liverpool looked like seizing possession, so it stays with Newcastle United and their goalkeeper Hornacek.
Newcastle just take a little bit of time to get their shape back here. It's been a frantic start to the game by them, and they're just looking to maybe just get a little bit more control in their game now.
Just ticking past the 23-minute mark. The voice you just heard was that of the former Tottenham and Wimbledon defender Chris Perry. I'm Matt Drabble. Newcastle 1, Liverpool 0 at St James's Park. He sat down in discomfort, clutching his ankle. looking for sympathy from the referee, certainly not getting any from the stands. Wissa in behind, what a ball that is, and Asula's breaking away, but Alisson saves with his legs. The loose ball bounces beyond the stretch of Asula again. What a ball by Yohan Wissa. No, he was that sort of player really. With the outside of his foot, he feathers that in behind between Liverpool's two centre-backs to the run of Asula.
I'll tell you what was impressive. The ball was good, but the will of Asula, literally the will of Asula to get on the end of it, get ahead of Xhaka, used his strength and his pace.
Well, Will's will not be enough on this occasion to beat Alisson, who sticks out a leg to keep it away. But Will Asula there with a fantastic chance. Once he caught up to the ball, all he had the energy left to do was just prod it goalward, and that is why Alisson was able to save with his legs 16 yards from his own goal. But feathered in behind, as I said, by an outstanding Trivela, they call it, with the outside of the right boot of Yohan Wissa. Beautiful football. Here is Dominic Szoboszlai, the wrong side of Wissa, who comes and brings it down from behind and gets a yellow card.
Yeah, you don't want to be giving away free kicks in that area of the pitch when Dominic Szoboszlai is on the pitch. We saw his first game of one of the early games last season against Arsenal, where he scored from a very similar position. Did it again later on in the season.
So Dominic Szoboszlai has set the ball down 35 yards from goal, just right of centre, and will look, no doubt, to knuckleball this toward the goal of Hornacek. Perhaps a little bit closer than that, perhaps 30 yards from goal all told. This strike coming up from Szoboszlai, and there is no question who will take it, even though Gakpo's in conversation. His hair tied back in a tight bun with a white band, his calves with the red socks rolled low round them. He paces out his run-up, the Hungarian, and the Newcastle wall of four with a draft excluder behind braces itself for a Szoboszlai pile driver from 30 yards. Big test this for Newcastle United and Hornacek. Can Szoboszlai get Liverpool back in this one? It's Dominic Szoboszlai, it's into the wall, and Malik Chow, who looks as dazed as anyone after that ball strikes him in the midriff. Szoboszlai has it now, given away to Miley. Newcastle might break again. Asula has the freedom of St James's Park, only Frimpong to beat. Liverpool numbers getting back well. Will Asula still with the ball glued to his feet, tees up Elanga. Joining in is Harvey Barnes, left wing. And brilliant challenge by Szoboszlai, who took the free kick, tracks back and ensures it goes no further for Newcastle.
He's all energy, isn't he, Szoboszlai? The only thing you were surprised of that he hit it straight into the wall. He's usually so good at getting those over. It was a very big wall that Newcastle had built.
Spaces opening up in this game. Gravenberch looking to exploit those spaces as he carries over halfway. Verts to the number 10 position, goes to the left-hand side for Gakpo. Fizzes one goalward. Chow's in the way again, not for the first time. Back to Verts. All sorts of room though for Kerkez. Into the feet of Gakpo, edge of the 18-yard box. Wanted Kerkez to carry on his run, he didn't. This time it's a 1-2 between the pair. Gakpo hands it up and Gamoa's arriving. Hall's defensive header wasn't the best. Frimpong takes charge. Jeremy Frimpong for Liverpool is seen off it by Harvey Barnes, but Newcastle's clearance is straight to the feet of Virgil van Dijk. And the Reds will come again. Here's Frimpong. Poor touch, cleared by Botman. And there's no outlet at the moment for the home side.
No, they can't get hold of the ball. They're pinned back in the edge of their box. Newcastle's back four. Liverpool really dominant in this stage of the game. Just can't seem to find that final pass that's going to really open up and create a gilt-edged chance.
Gakpo going for the byline, chopping back on his right foot. Elanga doing his bit defensively, and I tell you what, there is no question that this Newcastle team are working hard for their new manager. That cannot be questioned today. They are running themselves ragged in this first half. Elanga's just popped up as a right back.
Yeah, I think it's easy to in these sort of games when you're celebrating Kevin Keegan and everything like that, to be really up for it.
He's certainly looking up for it at the moment, but it's Liverpool in possession. Gamoa looking for Isak, poor ball. Isak comes back to win the challenge, but has clipped the heels of Lewis Miley. It's going to be a Newcastle United free kick just outside their own penalty area.
Lovely skill from Lewis Miley, receives it under pressure, a little Cruyff turn to get away, and he's brought down by Isak.
Here is Malik Chow. He's been excellent so far, as has Lewis Hall in that Newcastle United back line. Botman trying to bring it away. It was a laboured touch, seized upon by Liverpool at the back with Xhaka. Long rangy run, this from Xhaka forward. Kerkez joining in from left back, clipped into the middle by Kerkez. It was a shot in the end and a poor one, which is gobbled up by Hornacek.
Yeah, Kerkez there. I don't think he made a bad decision shooting. There wasn't really many passes on, but it was an impressive from Xhaka, the way he stepped into midfield and found the pass. He's impressed me so far.
Newcastle United with Elanga on the right wing. Whistles as he tries to hold off Kerkez, who kept him well marshalled. And a yellow card is going to come out for Milos Kerkez there. It was on the halfway line. It seemed a good honest battle. I have to say, I think he might be a bit hard done by Milos Kerkez.
I think it's not the first time he's tried to foul Elanga, is it? I mean, Elanga's got a piece of his shorts and Kerkez has got a bit of Elanga's shirt. It's been a good battle down that side of the pitch. Certainly Elanga's winning it at the moment.
Process of accumulation perhaps then. The reason for Kerkez is yellow. Still seems a little harsh. Lovely touch by Harvey Barnes to carry him into space in the middle, but the pace of Frimpong prevents Barnes getting any further towards Liverpool's goal. The yellow card comes out though. Referee Stuart Atwell thinks that was a foul. Frimpong in the book. And all of a sudden, Liverpool, in the blink of an eye, have both fullbacks on a yellow.
No, I think he's a bit unlucky here, Frimpong. He doesn't get the ball, but the reason he doesn't get the ball is because Harvey Barnes has got a hold of his shorts and he can't get his leg round because of that. The referee doesn't see it. I think he's making a genuine attempt to play the ball. I think the yellow card's probably a little bit much.
A stiff arm from Harvey Barnes to keep Frimpong at bay, and then Frimpong tried to hook his right leg round. Didn't get a great deal of the ball, but as Chris rightfully said, that was only because Harvey Barnes was pushing him off by his shirt the whole way. Newcastle have a free kick in a position of some promise. Lewis Hall might fancy this. Will Azula is there with him. Azula, not known for being much of a free kick taker. Lewis Hall
definitely
is
unknown quantity in terms of that, isn't he? But Lewis Hall, I mean, it's the side of the pitch that would suit a left footer to whip it over the wall and bend it away from Alisson.
About 32 yards from goal, dead centre. Newcastle United free kick. Alisson bouncing on his goal line in dark green. It looks set to be struck by Azula straight into the wall, didn't get far, back to Azula through the crowd, deflects off Soboslai, and a corner kick's about the best case scenario there.
I think it is. I think Will Azula probably won't be on the free kicks next week.
I was surprised when he's looked set to take it. I was less surprised when it hit about thigh height of the wall, didn't really go anywhere. Now it's going to be a Newcastle United corner kick. Lewis Hall back on the set pieces this time. And it will be an in-swinger from the left. Crowded 18-yard box, particularly the 6-yard box in front of Alisson. Hall to deliver towards the head of Chow. Botman's there too, almost got on the end of it. Bounces back out to Lewis Hall. Left corner of the penalty area, dancing towards Florian Wirtz. Wirtz stands up well, brilliant challenge. Can't dribble himself away though, gets a fortunate deflection and releases Alexander Isak, who's bursting down the left. Isak for Liverpool. Newcastle getting back in number. Switches play to Frimpong. Look how quickly the black and white shirts have got back though. My word, Chris Perry, that is impressive. 8 of them got back from their own corner quicker than 3 Liverpool forwards got ahead of them.
It's great desire, and it's also really good defending initially from Amar Dedic to slow the attack down and allow them that time to get back.
It's a Newcastle side that are running themselves into the ground at the moment. And Andoni Iraola complained about the fitness of his 11 as Chow and Sturr get into a right muddle. And they're trying to work out exactly whose fault that is. It was a terrible ball by Sturr, but surely Chow could have got something on it.
I think he was a bit worried there, Chow. We'll come back to it in a minute.
As Liverpool take a throw down the line to Wirtz, straight out of play, goal kick. Are you going to say?
I think if Chow reaches out his left leg and he would have had to stretch for it with his left leg, he would have then deflected the ball back into the penalty area. And I just wonder if he was a bit worried there might be a Liverpool player ready to come onto it.
Perhaps
and he just thought the safest way was just to leave it to go for the throw-in. But
the lesser of two evils, rather than a dodgy touch into your own penalty area, is conceding a throw by the corner flag. It's a good point, well made, Chris Perry, as Newcastle try and play their way out from the back. Liverpool will press and press, we know that under Iraola. Newcastle in a bit of a tight spot here. Hall's got work to do, he hasn't been able to do it, and Gamo has picked his pocket by the corner flag right-hand side into the feet of Gravenberch, looking back for Soboslai. Gravenberch fouled by Miley. And it's going to be a Liverpool free kick and another yellow card. Well, it's not a great deal of rope this referee is giving players, is he, here, Chris?
There's not been a bad tackle in the game, and yet you've got 4 players on yellow cards already.
And Miley into the book as well, as you say, the 4th yellow card. That one very innocuous on Gravenberch. Has brought him down. 34 minutes gone. Newcastle 1, Liverpool 0 here at St James's Park. You're listening to Premier League Live. Another Szoboszlai free kick. Going to swing it in from right of centre. Isak leaps. Botman higher. Here's Kerkez on the left wing. Running at Johan Wissa. Brilliant defending by Johan Wissa. Plays it off Kerkez. Wins the tackle and the throw. Newcastle throwing.
Yeah, it's really good work, isn't it, from Johan Wissa. Gets across, closes Kerkez down, times the challenge perfectly and wins a throw-in.
Eisler looks on. He's gone for the black shirt, or black suit with the white shirt unbuttoned at the collar. For his first game in charge. He looks the part, certainly. Yeah. The German manager and his side are playing their part at the moment in this first half. Awkward jump with Elanga and Szoboszlai. Wissa, though, first to pounce on it. This is the Johan Wissa we remember from his time at Brentford, running everywhere, all over everything over Thomas Frank, whether he's on the wing, up front, or just behind the striker, with Mbeumo playing ahead of him. He is an energizer bunny, as is this man, Azula, who gets there first ahead of Virgil van Dijk. Van Dijk just shrugs him off.
Just experience from Van Dijk, wasn't it? Just pure experience. Didn't have the pace to deal with Azula, just knew how to use his body and shield it away from him.
One of the big concerns about this Liverpool back line is what they'd look like when they're running towards their own goal. That was seemingly addressed with the signing of the very quick and very strong Araujo from Barcelona. But Araujo is not playing today. He's had a difficult time with the ball at his feet over the last couple of seasons, has the Uruguayan.
I think Xhaka looks very, very quick, very good mover, very similar to Konate in aspect, probably a little bit better on the ball.
Indeed, he might be. It's Ungamoa on the ball at the moment, but it's deflected straight into the hands of Hornacek, who had some question marks over him in pre-season, let him 2 goals which weren't exactly screamers against Bayer Leverkusen. He could have perhaps got closer to in the most recent pre-season friendly for Newcastle United, which the Magpies lost 2-1. Cleared away towards Virgil van Dijk, clearance is straight into touch. Another Newcastle throw, 5 yards over the halfway line, right-hand side. And in danger, Liverpool of just fading out of this first half. Need to have more of a say in the 18-yard box. Thrown in field by Newcastle, brought down by Azula, fumbles it back to Lewis Hall. Nothing ahead of Lewis Hall, much to the frustration of the home fans. So I'll just keep holding on to the ball before chipping it expertly to Lewis Miley. Miley looking in behind for Barnes. Barnes running off the shoulder of Frimpong. The two are tussling again, but the pace of Jeremy Frimpong is making Harvey Barnes' life difficult on the left wing.
Yeah, Harvey Barnes looking to get in behind Frimpong. Frimpong did really well, matched him pace for pace, got his arm across Barnes, made sure he couldn't get on the end of the pass. It was a little bit overhit from Lewis Miley as well.
And I suppose the problems of running back towards your own goal were exacerbated by the fact that the right back for Liverpool last year was very often not a right back. Curtis Jones played a lot of minutes there last year for the Reds. Gravenberch finds Wirtz left wing. Running at the new signing Dedic. Wirtz clipped it to the edge. Szoboszlai was waiting. He was poised to volley that goalwards. It was dropping down with snow on it for Szoboszlai before it was steered away by Lewis Miley. Szoboszlai, Isak. Ball rolled to the right wing. Here's Ungamoa to take on Lewis Hall. Right edge of the penalty area. Tees up Frimpong for a first-time cross. Brilliant looking delivery. And Dedic can only scoop it behind for a Liverpool corner.
That's good ball from Frimpong. Good pace. Whipped in at a decent height. Liverpool didn't really have anyone coming in at the back post, but Dedic wants to know that.
So Liverpool with the corner kick. Left wing. 38 minutes on the clock. Need a route back into this game, need something to get that away end rocking. Van Dijk forward, Isak forward, Xhaka forward. No shortage of height among either side. Szoboszlai delivers, it's deflected horribly in front of goalkeeper Hornacek and steered over by Botman, who has reacted brilliantly to the ball taking a wicked deflection in front of him to make sure it goes over the bar, not into his own net.
I think it hits him. I think it's a good header by Gakpo. He does well, doesn't he? Botman had that just gone another yard. I think Gravenberch might have had a tap in.
Szoboszlai again from the left wing, another in-swing, the same area. This time Dedic knew what was coming and heads it away to Frimpong. Wirtz not had enough of a say in this game. Finds the feet of Gravenberch 30 yards from goal, pings up towards Isak, bounces away from him, and Hornacek can scoop it up. But Florian Wirtz needs to get just a tad more involved. It's feeling like first half of the season Florian Wirtz at the moment, rather than second half of the season Florian Wirtz.
I think how often can you get him on the ball? He needs the ball to be effective. He's one of those players that can affect it physically.
Wissa running down at the Liverpool goal to Elanga on the outside, return to Wissa, Frimpong in trouble, guides it away, only as far as Elanga again. Lewis Miley in a left-back position just for the moment, swapping positions with Lewis Hall, who now has it, and will seemingly settle for a Newcastle throw, although it's gone Liverpool's way. Wirtz gives Chow something to think about with Isak chasing him. And Chow hooks away for a Liverpool throw halfway, left-hand side. The fans on that side just shielding their eyes from this Tyneside sun, which is burning down on the St James's Park pitch. It's amazing for me, Chris, to see a bit of English turf that isn't brown and hay-coloured. It's the first green grass I've seen in about 3 months in this country, such has been the weather over here in England. Through ball by Jacquet is a horrible one, but equally so by Chow, which allows Gravenberch to tee himself from the edge, and Botman gets in front of him.
Well, the two centre-backs have been magnificent when it's come to blocking shots in this first half from Newcastle. And Sven Botman got his centre-back partner Malik Thiaw out of a little bit of a mistake there.
Well, every clearance roared like a goal, every block celebrated by defenders like they've just put one in the back of the net too. There is no doubt about it. Newcastle United are bang up for this in every sense of the word, as we see Dan Burn pictured in his executive lounge, not playing today, growing out the moustache, Dan Burn, and Thomas Tuchel also here, perhaps peering over a few of the English talents on display. Rio Ungamoa, of course, for Liverpool, Lewis Hall for Newcastle United. I think that's about it, you know. Harvey Barnes potentially as well. Might get the attention of Thomas Tuchel at some stage. Florian Wirtz on the left wing, drifting towards the touchline, seen out by Sean Sturr, who wins Newcastle a throw.
He's impressed, doesn't he? I mean, he's made a couple of poor passes at times, but you'd expect that. But for an 18-year-old, he's been excellent. He'll be really happy with his first half performance so far. Very confident in possession.
Well, listening to Newcastle fans talk about him, they said the greatest thing about him was he always wanted the ball and always wanted to pass forward. Doesn't mean it's always going to come off, doesn't mean every pass forward is going to be a good one, but he's always looking forward on the ball. It makes a change from so long in the Premier League, midfielders keeping it tidy, going sideways. As Gravenberch goes down on the challenge from Wissa.
He's dived there.
Who is on a yellow card, Johan Wissa.
Gravenberch is well aware that it's Wissa who's behind him, and he has gone to ground, making it look as bad as he can.
He's waited for the contact. Did any come?
No, there's virtually no contact there. It's a dive to get him sent off, that is.
It's a replay that's not very kind to Ryan Gravenberch, and I think Chris is spot on with his analysis. He would have known that was Johan Wissa running behind him. He's waited till he got right up behind him and flopped to the floor. Newcastle may be able to respond. There as Elanga drives beyond Gakpo, and Gakpo charges through the back of Elanga.
There wasn't a lot in that. It was good, actually really good recovery run from Gakpo, who works so hard for his team, and he just sort of out-muscled Elanga more than anything.
Busy first half for Stuart Atwell. Short leash for both yellow cards and free kicks in general. Whistle's been going plenty.
It's been very combative and, you know, compact in that midfield area. There's been lots going on in there.
43 minutes on the clock. Newcastle 1, Liverpool 0. Ticking towards half-time, of which there is no doubt which manager will be the happier. Here is Sven Botman. Sturr, Miley on the left wing, into Lewis Hall. They're not finding a great deal of joy playing through Liverpool, playing round or over Liverpool though. Has brought plenty for Newcastle United. They've actually looked better strangely, when they've gone long, when they've just turned one round the corner to Elanga or Asula, as they've done here. Wissa chasing Kerkez, out-jumping Kerkez. Drops to Elanga 35 yards from goal, spins past Gravenberch. Barnes is desperate for him, instead he crosses towards Azula. Drops to Johan Wissa outside the area, shoots early, shoots tamely, dribbles wide for a Liverpool goal kick.
Yeah, you just feel that's an attack that Newcastle could have made more of. Elanga needed to wait for the run of Dedic down the outside and slide him in, and then it would have been a ball across the box. And then again, that second ball in from Wissa, it was more a shot than a cross, and it was just, no one was ever going to get on the end of it. They need to make more of those moments, but that long ball in behind has caused Liverpool problems all afternoon so far.
Alexander Isak, rare touch for him on the left. It's a touch for Malik Chow, who delivers a two-handed shove, wins the approval of the Newcastle fans, not the referee. And Chow given his swift instructions to back off and get back in position by Stuart Atwell. Liverpool with a free kick on the left-hand side. There are plenty of free kicks, not done a great deal with them. Quality of delivery. It plagued Manchester United in their game against Hull City early on.
Well, Botman's been so strong, hasn't he, aerially for Newcastle when it's been a corner or a free kick.
Will it be more quality this time? From Szoboszlai, drilled into the 18-yard box. The answer is no. Hits the first man, Dedic, who heads it away for a Liverpool throw. Kerkez, Szoboszlai, launched back in toward Gakpo, and down in the penalty area goes Botman. Newcastle will have a free kick in their 18-yard box. Just one added minute. Isn't that refreshing after the summer, Chris Perry? After the added times we had with the hydration breaks, the 8s, the 12s. Just 1 minute at a time. I can't remember the last time I saw that in a game of football.
No, it's been a while, hasn't it? Just a little nudge in the back by Gakpo to Botman. He certainly went down and made the most of it.
So Newcastle free kick. Botman and Chow have been brilliant. Liverpool have been a little bit toothless. Wonder what Andoni Iraola will say at the half-time break. Half-time quickly approaching here. Anthony Elanga's goal still the difference early on. Just 5 minutes in, really, when he rolled that past Alisson. Newcastle go out to the left wing for Barnes. Great leap to head it down to Miley. Barnes is struggling to get change out of Jeremy Frimpong, though. On this left-hand side of Newcastle United, and Isak fires a loose pass straight into touch, to the delight of these Newcastle fans. Lewis Hall readying himself to take the throw, trotting very slowly over to it, because he knows once he picks it up, he's only got 5 seconds. Players have already found a way around that roll. Thrown down the line by Lewis Hall, and that brings the first half to a close. Well, we've had 45 minutes insight into what Newcastle United might look like under Matthias Jaissler, and he will be by far the happier of the two managers. Half-time score here, it's Newcastle 1, Liverpool 0. An analysis from me and Chris Perry coming up, so stay tuned for that. You're listening to Premier League Live.
Live music on Virgin Radio.
From the top of the tower
to the tingles of your spine.
The biggest artists.
Now going from my left to my right, still in black and white shirts, black shorts, black socks. Liverpool defending to the right of halfway in all red, and Newcastle get us underway, fired forward to the feet of Will Ozula, but intercepted by Szoboszlai. Gravenberch can turn and find Kerkez. Kerkez bursting forward towards the Newcastle penalty area, held up. Gakpo in support, cutting in field, moving from left to right in his orange and white boots. Now Gravenberch again, Newcastle backing off Gravenberch, he can pick a pass to Gakpo, tried to flick that inward with his right boot, and Sturr gets in the way. Liverpool have a corner kick 30 seconds into the second half.
Yeah, Newcastle took the kick-off. They had 8 players across the halfway line, and then they played backwards, and Liverpool just clicked onto it, won the ball back, and have now got a corner from Newcastle. I've never seen a set-up like that before. And
it might prove costly, that strange set-up. It has, as Chris said, gifted Liverpool this corner kick. Szoboszlai takes, headed up in the air towards Isak at the back post, and it's punched away off the goal line by Hornacek. Here's Florian Wirtz, given away. Newcastle could break. This is exactly how the first goal came about. Harvey Barnes surging forward. Elanga on the left wing. Elanga past Wirtz, looking for Barnes on the return, intercepted by Liverpool, who will counter Newcastle's counter. Well, the pace hasn't slowed down, Chris.
No, Liverpool look like they've come out looking to play at a slightly quicker pace and get about Newcastle in this second half, certainly.
Florian Wirtz right wing, Frimpong down the line, the wrong side of Miley, at the byline, lifted in towards Isak. They cannot pick him out. For love nor money, Alexander Isak at the moment. Every cross is met by Botman and Chiao, and he's cutting a frustrated figure. Malik Chow, edge of his 6-yard box, down the right-hand side. Dedic carrying it over halfway, finds Wissa with a beautiful ball. Osula's making a run off the shoulder of Xhaka. Wissa to Osula. Flag stays down for the moment. Barnes in support in the penalty area, looking to chop it back across goal. Van Dijk's clearance is skewed. Lewis Miley cries of shoot. Shoot he does, but he shoots over.
That's end-to-end. It's like a basketball game at the start of this second half, and that's certainly not going to be what probably either of these managers want. Isak had a half chance at the back post, the corner flicked on, but doesn't Hornacek do well just to react and push it away off of Isak's head almost?
So it is going to be a Liverpool goal kick. It's clipped forward by Virgil van Dijk, gets his toes under it and picks out Gakpo, shoved to the ground rather carelessly by the man marking him, Dedic. And so Liverpool will have a free kick. Newcastle's chance on the break really ended with Yoane Wissa, who's passed the ball about brilliantly today, overhitting the through ball to Osula, left him with too much to do. And Liverpool with Xhaka. Forward toward Lewis Hall. Can't get anything on it really. And Liverpool take the throw back to the feet of Xhaka again. Gravenberch. Now Virgil van Dijk, the centre-back. Home to Alisson. It's very patient now from Liverpool after the energetic, chaotic start to the second half. Gravenberch 10 yards shy of the halfway line, facing his manager Iraola, passes out to the left-hand side. Kerkez, Gravenberch, back to Kerkez, tidily done, but he's not comfortable running with the ball, Milos Kerkez, and he hasn't really been all day, Chris. When he gets on the ball, been a bit like Bambi on ice.
Yeah, just not quite got the ball under his spell today.
Wissa running free from Gravenberch, desperate for a free kick, didn't get one. It was a dangerous challenge from Gravenberch, but one that came off, jumping and lunging from behind to steal the ball away.
You have to get the ball in that situation, and I think he did just about get enough of it.
Rio and Gamoa bursting at Lewis Hall, who's taught him a bit of a lesson in the first half. Maybe Gamoa can change that story. The 17-year-old. Van Dijk. Gakpo, it's beyond Gakpo for a Newcastle United throw. Gravenberch might have hurt himself in making that challenge. It was a really brave one. Wissa got the better of him, and then he takes off and hooks the ball backward. And did he just clip his own ankle, or Wissa land on his ankle when he makes that challenge? It's a really
there's
tough
a lot
way
of
to fall.
contact between the two players, isn't there? definitely feeling something, Gravenberch. Strong, isn't he?
Strong again there against Rissa. Wants a free kick, won't get one. And instead Newcastle given a free kick because Gravenberch has handballed it, scooping it up, anticipating the whistle coming to his aid.
Yeah, going back to Rio Ngamo, I just think playing on the right, you know, you're stepping into Mo Salah's shoes. It's big shoes to fill. And he's so much more effective on the left-hand side. I'd like to see Gakpo and him maybe just swap over for a period of the game.
Made just 9 starts last year in Ngamo, 2 goals, 1 assist in all competitions, including a dramatic goal against Newcastle in the 100th minute. Here's Frimpong bursting forward right wing. To his right is Ngamoa, really poor return pass by Rio Ngamoa. And not having the most comfortable afternoon. He seems to step perfectly into every challenge that has presented itself to him, including his unofficial status in the England squad at the World Cup as a travel player that played the friendlies but not, of course, eligible for the actual tournament. He was outstanding against New Zealand for England in Miami, or rather Tampa, but he is not quite taken this game in his stride. It is a lot, as you say, 17, starting, opening day, emotional day away at St James's Park.
And I think it's where he's playing on the pitch. That right-hand side has been Mo Salah, you know, who is an absolute legend, not only of the Premier League, but for Liverpool, he's an absolute god-like, you know. He could do no wrong for Liverpool, and trying to step into those boots is just impossible for a young man.
Indeed it is, and Victor Munoz might have to experience the same himself. The winger signed from Osasuna is on the bench today for the Reds. Attacking player, the only attacking player signed by Liverpool this summer. 7 goals, 5 assists for Osasuna last year. Might see him soon if things don't turn around quickly for Liverpool. Can play on either flank, the Spaniard. Virgil van Dijk roaming over halfway. So elegant on the ball is Van Dijk, into Wirtz, touch was heavy, managed somehow to keep a hold of it and dink it forward to Kerkez. Kerkez chopped back to Gakpo, looking to pull the trigger is Cody Gakpo, and he sails just a couple of yards over the bar, not a million miles away. It was a half chance for Gakpo.
It's a good chance, you know, he's used to coming inside onto that right foot and opening up the goal and hitting the target. He tries to bend it to the top corner, gets underneath it a little too much. Just wonder whether he might have just dragged it back near post. I think he might have scored.
And Cody Gakpo was a figure of frustration for Liverpool fans at points last year. He's often on the end of heavy criticism, but had another really impressive international showing. His international record is brilliant, in fact, for the Netherlands national team. Another 3 goals, 1 assist in 4 appearances at the World Cup.
I think he will score goals. Wherever across that front line you play him, he will score goals.
Isak putting the pressure on Hornacek, and Isak infuriated by the fact he has pressed and no one has come with him. And I think Areola won't be too happy either. Clearly something not quite clicking in Areola's system. He said he's found his tactics hard to implement. It is proving that way thus far. If you're just joining us on Premier League Live, 54 minutes on the clock. Newcastle 1, Liverpool 0. Matt Drabble, Chris Perry. Here's Florian Wirtz on the ball on halfway. Stir in his face, so instead he rolls it in field to Gakpo. Step over from Gakpo, releases Frimpong into the penalty area, right-hand side, cut back towards Isak. And Chow got there just in time to deny Alexander Isak potentially sweeping home. Liverpool knocking on the door though. Newcastle struggling to get out. Lovely reverse ball into Gakpo again, 30 yards out, pulls the trigger and finds the bottom corner. What did you say moments ago, Chris? He'll score goals. He has in this one. Cody Gakpo has rifled that in from 30 yards. And it's Newcastle 1, Liverpool 1.
It's been coming, hasn't it? Liverpool starting to find players in between lines. Second time within this move that they found Gakpo between lines. No one goes to close him down. Gets to the edge of the box and he's so good from those sort of areas. Right foot, fires it, absolute pinpoint finish right into the bottom left-hand corner. Hornacek goes full length but can't get anywhere near it. It's a wonderful finish from Gakpo.
Well, the Liverpool midfielder, you'd potentially argue, is the most defensive-minded, has been the biggest attacking threat in Gravenberch. On the half-turn there, he hits a reverse ball into Gakpo, who's around 30 yards from goal. He takes a touch closer till he's about 22, 23 yards from goal, and he unleashes a right-footed daisy cutter that skims the surface and bulges the side netting in the bottom left. There is not a chance Lucas Hornacek could have saved that, and Liverpool are level, and Newcastle United just hadn't woken up to start this second half, and I think Matthias Geisler has recognised that in making a double substitution.
Yeah, he has. Young Sean Sturr's come off. He's had a decent debut, I think, and he will be replaced by Jacob Ramsey in that midfield area. And then Willis Sula, who's run himself into the ground up top, has been replaced by Willock, who I think will play just in behind. Johan Wissa now will go and play that centre-forward role.
So just to confirm, it is Sula and Sturr off and Ramsey and Willock on for Newcastle United. Some much-needed legs because Liverpool in the ascendancy. Here's Frimpong on the right wing. Rio Ungamoa, it's the away fans you can hear. Ungamoa, shot towards goal, hits Malik Chow. Cries of handball. Here's Gakpo again, almost falls to the feet of Isak, and Newcastle United need to get a hold of themselves quickly. Liverpool fans roaring in approval. Their side have come alive.
They've just stepped up the intensity at the start of the second half, and Newcastle were struggling to live with it.
Here is Frimpong, down the line to Wirtz, puts Miley on his back at the byline, twists back towards midfield, finds Rio Ungamoa, he's going to take on Lewis Hall. Isak, touch was poor, Gravenberch got everything behind that, blocked by Chow, and again, if not for Malik Chow, Newcastle United could be behind. Wiss is bringing them away though, over halfway, options left and right. Finds Joe Willock. Willock, brilliant feet. How's the finish? It's even better! Joe Willock, fresh off the bench, has Newcastle back in front in the blink of an eye.
Well, I think that's Joe Willock's first touch. It's his first touches of the ball, but how well does Johan Wissa do initially? When he gets that ball, he has got 3 or 4 Liverpool players around him. He's in his own half. Very similar to the goal in the first half almost, and that it's a counter-attacking goal from Newcastle, but Wissa does absolutely magnificently to carry the ball up the pitch, to play the ball into Willock. The ball into Willock's even a little bit behind him. There's so many similarities to this goal. 3 players around him, Wissa wriggles away, plays it to his left-hand side to Willock, who's got 4 players round him, and his first touch is magnificent with the outside of his right foot. Takes it into the space, breaks between players, and then bends it into the bottom right-hand corner around Alisson. I mean, they are 2 of the best first 2 touches you will ever see from Joe Willock. Magnificent finish.
Liverpool's lead lasted 3 minutes before Johan Wissa carried Newcastle United up the pitch, dragged them forward with bodies around him. He teed up Joe Willock, who still had an awful lot to do, 25 yards out, left of centre. He took 2 touches to scamper between 3 red Liverpool shirts. He got it out his feet and he curled it right-footed beyond the dive of Alisson and into the bottom right-hand corner from just around the left edge of the penalty area. It is his first Premier League goal since February of 2024 for Joe Willock. A man who once scored in 6 straight games has been on a terrible drought in the Premier League, and he ended it emphatically there.
It's a proper game now, isn't it? Liverpool looking to attack. Newcastle dropped really deep. It's very open now.
Newcastle scoop it up with Lewis Miley. You do not want to turn this one off. We promised you it would be fun, and my goodness, is it ever. 60 minutes on the clock. Newcastle 2, Liverpool 1. Full of passion, full of drama. The Premier League very much is back. Here's Wirtz out to the left wing for Gakpo. He's going to drift infield, tries to chip it up to Szoboszlai, falls to Kerkez. Kerkez trying to cross, squeezes one across. Ramsey gets his boot through it. Gakpo to pull the trigger again, always rising. sails over the top right corner and into the joyful Newcastle fans.
Confidence flowing through in there, Cody Gakpo, but definitely got that one all wrong. Liverpool going to the bench again. Looks like Alexis McAllister will be coming onto the pitch.
So McAllister and Victor Munoz readying themselves below us here at St James's Park. It is noisy. That was expected. It is entertaining, that too. Only the third Premier League fixture this now to ever reach 200 goals. 201 have been scored between these two in the Premier League era. And a bit of afters between Szoboszlai and Willock. His goal, the difference, Joe Willock, the ex-Arsenal boy. Off the bench. Scored just once last year against Paris Saint-Germain in January. Well, he scored on the opening day this year. Szoboszlai tries to ping forward, collects his own misplaced pass, but Ramsey's stolen it off him. Elanga into Willock, Wissa off and running, goes wide instead to Harvey Barnes, who can take on Frimpong, down the line to Elanga in the penalty area. Elanga puts in a near perfect ball, but because him and Barnes were on the same side, there's no one there to tap it in.
He didn't look, no, did he, Elanga? Just put it in expecting someone to be there, and there wasn't anyone there.
Newcastle getting deeper and deeper,
they are
which
really
allows...
deep. There's so much space for Liverpool on the counter-attack now.
Kirkes has just run 50 yards with the ball there, completely unchecked from left-back. He's found Gakpo. Newcastle's defensive line, I'm not exaggerating, is set at that 18-yard box, regardless of where Liverpool have the ball. Gravenberch. Wirtz, first time, round the corner, sliding in was Ramsey, not giving him an inch. Elanga now in almost a right-back position, wriggles forward up the right, scoops one down the line. Lewis Miley trying to return it to Elanga, very well done, Virgil van Dijk. Difficult to do that, to stretch in front of it, and he did it well. Newcastle on the hunt though, Barnes chasing down Frimpong, and Liverpool will have to settle for a throw.
Just when you thought Liverpool would silence the crowd a little bit, that goal came so quickly after they scored, and has just got everyone in the stadium back up for this game.
So Rio Ngamoa is going to make way, not his afternoon, Rio Ngamoa, and he will depart. Ngamoa off. We are going to see Victor Munoz on for his Liverpool debut, and Florian Wirtz is going to make way. Now, Florian Wirtz told us all he was ready for the Premier League. No doubt he is a player oozing quality, but it is another game which just doesn't really feel like he has had the impact worthy of his talent. And I say that in kindness to Florian Wirtz. He has so much talent. You can't quite understand how he doesn't seize it, or seize these games by the scruff of the neck more.
No, Liverpool still haven't, I don't think, found the best way to use him. I don't think the players around him know which runs to make to bring out the best in him. And I just feel that he looks like a player to me that still isn't fully fit, or whether even if he is fully fit, then he can't play at the tempo of the Premier League.
Cut out by Kirkes, the ball intended for Dedic. Here's Gakpo, charged down from behind by Dedic. And Liverpool take the free kick quickly, too quickly for Stuart Atwell's liking. It was McAllister that came on for Wirtz. Andoni Iraola cutting a frustrated figure. All he said, that's not completely unheard of, was bemoaning Liverpool's chances in pre-season as Isak runs forward and is slid into from behind by Jacob Ramsey. Ramsey into the book as well, can't quite believe it.
Well, I think Newcastle actually are a little bit lucky that the referee's given the free kick here, because if you wait for the advantage, I think Munoz is in here. Munoz is in on goal and is potentially fouled by Lewis Hall as he breaks into the box.
And I think Alexis McAllister was making exactly that point. I don't think that's a foul from Jacob Ramsey. I think it was a good challenge.
Yeah, it was a good challenge.
And Liverpool, as you said, are almost frustrated they've been given a free kick for that because Munoz was in. So, Liverpool free kick. A long way out, that doesn't normally matter to a player of the quality of Dominic Szoboszlai, though. This one really is about 35. Just right of centre.
Well, you'd expect him to cross this one.
And Szoboszlai over it in his white boots. Liverpool gather in the penalty area. 4 in the Newcastle wall. Curled in by Szoboszlai. Gravenberch jumping, Van Dijk gets a touch, but he just pops it up off his heel into the grateful hands of Hornacek, the Newcastle debutant.
Yeah, Van Dijk, I don't think was quite expecting it to come to him, and he didn't really hit the half volley with any sort of conviction.
So the throw to be taken by Frimpong. McAllister. Jacquet at the back, all the way home to Alisson. If you're just joining us, 66 minutes, Newcastle 2, Liverpool 1. Thoroughly entertaining action on offer at St James's Park. Miley gets the better of Szoboszlai again, but it breaks kindly for Cody Gakpo, the wrong side of Chow. Cody Gakpo running goalward, Chow recovers, and Botman bails him out too. Fantastic defending by Newcastle United. One centre-back kept track of Isak in the middle, the other, Chow, followed Gakpo all the way. Liverpool on the right with Munoz, they'll come again. Munoz looking to cross, hits Lewis Hall. Back to the Spanish international. Victor Munoz up against Hall. In towards Isak, complete miss hit from Alexander Isak. Almost feel sorry for him. At this point, the way the afternoon has gone for him. Elanga. Wissa in the middle, he never gave it Anthony Elanga, instead he'll dribble down the right-hand side towards Kirkes. Guided in field, Ramsey. Got lots of space here, Newcastle United, just outside the Liverpool penalty area. Choose to find Joe Willock left wing. Left edge of the box. Back to Ramsey. Across to Lewis Hall, and they settle instead for possession rather than penetration on this occasion. But Miley has other ideas and releases Lewis Hall behind the Liverpool back line. Risser's in there, it goes all the way through. It was begging for a touch from someone in black and white, still alive with Elanga on the right. Joining in is Dedic. Elanga, Liverpool on the ropes for the moment. Lewis Miley, wonderfully done to weave round Liverpool players. Elanga to strike, and Alisson had to gather to his chest. Lewis Miley, both with him and out the ball, running the show for Newcastle United. He set up Lewis Hall and he set up Elanga. Lewis Hall's cross ran untouched along the whole of the 6-yard box. The Elanga shot gobbled up by Alisson.
I think Wissa gets a touch. I just don't think he gets enough on it. He has to score, he has to get more on it. If he gets more on it, he almost certainly scores. And Gakpo at the other end, as you say, is magnificent defending by both central defenders, because Botman gets across so quickly, forces Gakpo to have to come back inside, which allows his centre-back partner Thiaw to get back round and make the challenge. Really open game, befitting of Kevin Keegan's memory. There's both teams really going at it.
Frimpong on the right, back to Munoz. McAllister the substitute, long sleeve red shirt in the middle to Munoz once more, hung up towards Szoboszlai. Trunks drops to Cody Gakpo. Here it is, Isak to shoot. And again he's lifted it wildly over the bar. Now Isak cuts such a cool, composed figure. You wouldn't think it would affect him, but he seems to be affected today, Chris. He's been really, really poor.
It can definitely affect you. You know, every time he's got the ball, he's got booed. He knows what a big chance this is for him. If he could score today, how that would, kickstart his Liverpool career.
In his 2 full seasons at Newcastle, he scored 52 goals in all competitions and 44 in the Premier League. He really was one of these standout forwards in all of world football in the black and white shirt. Willock on the right hand side trying to swing one in. McAllister blocks it. Newcastle United will have a corner kick. And the stats were frightening. 125 million he moved that British record on deadline day after refusing to play to force the move. And Liverpool make a substitution. Ronald Araujo is on for another Liverpool debut. And it is Jeremy Jacquet that makes way. So Araujo of Barcelona He is coming on loan, the Barcelona captain. Thrown in field by Newcastle United. Magical feat from Willock again, crossed in. It's punched away by Alisson. Ramsey hits it, and Wissa couldn't deflect it home. It's a Liverpool goal kick. Good hit by Jacob Ramsey. Another one tipped to have a bit of a better season when he first showed at Newcastle United. Is Jacob Ramsey such a talent at Aston Villa? Caught a hold of that full volley, but it wasn't on target, and Wissa couldn't turn it that way.
You know, you can see that these younger players at Newcastle are going to benefit from the fact that Bruno's moved on and Tonali's moved on. They're going to get an opportunity to go and make that role their own.
As McAllister and Willock get themselves tied up, and Virgil van Dijk tries to help Willock up.
Well, Van Dijk's definitely trodden on his boot, because you could see the laces have been pulled out.
It was McAllister and Willock initially that were getting acquainted with one another, and Willock attempting to get McAllister in a bit of trouble, I think, with the way he went down, but Liverpool will keep it moving. There's been 31 shots in this game. It's felt like it as well, Chris.
Only 8 on target. There's been some poor shooting around the edge of the box at times, but it's certainly been an exciting game. Brilliant first game back to the Premier League on the opening weekend.
Araujo first touches as a Liverpool player, eventually scoops it wide to the left for Kirkes. Perhaps the pitches were bigger in La Liga, because that's landed in the 4th row. Newcastle United have a throw 5 yards shy of the halfway line. And Iraola wants them to get on with it. He wants the referee to start issuing the 5 seconds to Dedic. And we've said it already with Lewis Hall, but immediately the players have realised if they don't pick up the ball for 15 seconds, then they get 20 seconds to decide where they're going to put the throw. So I'm not really sure this Premier League master plan to stop time wasting is having a great deal of impact at the moment. Maybe we'll see it tightened up on. Here's Lewis Hall sprinting forward, surging forward, held up by Munoz. Ramsey shaking free of Gravenberch. Barnes, Hall, neat 1-2 between those two on the left, and Hall round the corner looks for Joe Willock, now playing as that second striker with Wissa. Gravenberch loses out to Willock as well, but the ball pops away from Munoz, who's dribbling through the middle of the park past Lewis Miley. Here comes Munoz on debut for Liverpool. Soberslai, the pass sold him short. Kirkes in the penalty area, on the overlap, hung up towards Isak, and any sort of half-decent ball, and Isak has a tap-in, and he is furious, the Swede, that hasn't come along the ground.
Well, he should be. He should be. Munoz does brilliantly, plays it to Soberslai, who's fouled. Referee does brilliantly to play the advantage. Gakpo slides Kirkes in down the left-hand side. He just has to roll that on the floor across the box with a little less pace, and Isak has a tap-in for the goal.
Have to say, I think Kirkes has been a disappointment today, in and out of possession. When he's got forward for Liverpool, his end product has really been lacking. Gravenberch to Soberslai, left of centre, 30 yards out, running at Miley, couple of step-overs to work some room. Nutmeg through the legs of Ramsey, but it was all in vain, because the pass at the end of it was poor. Newcastle not showing any signs of getting up though. They remain rooted to the edge of their 18-yard box. They are begging Liverpool to cut away through them, and at the moment Liverpool can't. But how long will that last?
I think you've seen that Newcastle could be devastating on the counter-attack. They've got so much pace when they do counter.
In a strange sort of way, and it's not just the Johan Wissa connection, they remind me of a Thomas Frank Brentford at the moment, Newcastle.
The way they've set up, and like 2 banks of 4 behind the ball, and difficult to beat, and then hitting teams on the counter, certainly a lot of similarities.
Down the line it goes, to the feet of Munoz for Liverpool. Running at Lewis Hall, but Lewis Hall has defended superbly today. That's a position you played before, Chris. He has been magnificent out there.
He's a very, very good young player. He just get better, I think, every season, just matures every season. As I said, I do think he will be long-term England's left back. So the goal kick goes Newcastle's way after Lewis Hall quickly ran out to meet Munoz, and Munoz rolled it straight into touch under pressure. We are going to see a substitution for Newcastle United. Jacob Murphy is coming on
for the home side. He's one of those players who was here before the injection of money and investment and is here after. Szoboszlai runs straight into Johan Wissa, and Wissa goes down, winning a free kick. It looked a little dubious from all the way up here. Chris, and the diving motion you're making with your hands suggests you agree with me.
He goes down very, very easily. I think he's just running out of energy there.
Never a free kick.
No, he's bought it.
Johan Wissa waits till Szoboszlai is between him and the referee, so the view is blocked, and leaps the action play to the turf.
But this is the Johan Wissa that we saw at Brentford, you know, all action, giving everything. He's been excellent. How does that man?
Substitution made for Newcastle United. Jacob Murphy is on Anthony Elanga after a fine performance, and the goal is off. And Lewis Miley, well, what can you say about his performance today? He is off too to save his legs, and new signing Alaji Bamba is on in his place. Bamba, a youngster who made a name for himself in League R with Monaco, on for Lewis Miley. Lewis Hall's delivery is a poor one from the free kick after the foul on Wissa. So Miley and Elanga off. Hall now, backwards to Hornacek. Sprayed long to the left wing. Underneath it is Araujo. Wissa tries to bring it down in the penalty area. And there's a few cries from the Liverpool back line suggesting an offside. They'll roll it out short, Liverpool. Newcastle have a bit more energy now, but still sat ever so deep. They allow Liverpool to get to around 40 yards from goal before they put any pressure on the ball, the home side. Araujo. Gravenberch met by Jacob Ramsey on this occasion. Frimpong down the line. Not enough movement among those red shirts to pick a hole in this Newcastle side. Isak. Gravenberch. Away comes Frimpong on the right. Lewis Hall in his face. Fired in by Frimpong. Heads back towards Munoz. Hits the chest of Chow. Some in red thought that had hit a hand, and it's thumped away by Newcastle United for a Liverpool throw. Yeah,
they might look at it. Sort of stomach height, wasn't it? Pretty close to his arm.
Munoz hit it.
Certainly not a penalty. Comes off of his thigh onto his arm that was by his side anyway.
So, Liverpool lining up the long throw. Araujo is going to take it, and yet another sub. Lewis Kumas on for Liverpool. And Ryan Gravenberch, who has been solid today for the Reds in his place. The 20-year-old Lewis Kumas, a Welsh international, joins the fray.
Played with his dad at West Brom.
Thrown in by Araujo. Up goes Van Dijk. Loose ball won by Newcastle United, but Murphy's run into trouble. And Liverpool get a free kick. They're very fortunate to receive because Newcastle were breaking again, and we've seen that movie before, twice today.
It depends, because if the tackle is where Alexis McAllister's holding his leg, then it's quite high.
Murphy was dribbling towards that loose ball.
He just stamps on his foot. It's not high at all, but it is, by the letter of the law, just about a free kick.
A free kick.
Yeah.
The very studs of Murphy clip McAllister as the two collide for the same ball. It is a soft one, and it did stop a Newcastle counter, hence the boos you can hear around us. 7 places between these two last year. Liverpool 5th, Newcastle United 12th. 11 points between them. Kevin Keegan's name being sung out around St James's Park before this Szoboszlai free kick. Both sets of fans joining in. Hornacek made one brilliant save in the first half. Nothing he could do about Gakpo's strike, and hasn't really been tested since. Szoboszlai looks set to shoot from here, dead centre. Nearly 40 yards out this. It's going to be struck by Dominic Szoboszlai. It hits the wall, scoops up in the air. Underneath it is Murphy. He's not done his teammates any favours because it's straight back skyward. McAllister shoots. Araujo chips it in. Here's Kumas over the bar. Free kick's already been given.
Well, what's the point in the referee putting a line down on the floor if he allows them to walk 2 feet ahead, 2 yards ahead of the line by the time the free kick's taken? And that's the reason why Szoboszlai doesn't get over the wall. It's silly.
So Newcastle United with a free kick, which also, by the way, did not look to be a free kick whatsoever. No. Araujo was looking up for the ball, and Harvey Barnes underneath it just waited till he felt contact from the more sizable defender, and again flopped to the floor. There's been a little bit too much of that in this game for my liking from both sides. Both have been guilty. Long it's sent by Hornacek. Araujo wins the first header. Ramsey pounces on the second ball left wing. Lewis Hall takes a rare poor touch, but Isak follows suit, so Newcastle are back on it. Chow goes home. Long off the boots of Hornacek. Wissa can chase. Araujo looking for a flag, which does eventually come.
Well, I'm not sure. Wissa was offside. Don't think the linesman could give that should never be given. There's no way Johan Wissa is offside.
Johan Wissa seems to have come from way behind. Well, Araujo had a 4 or 5 yard head start on Wissa, racing for that loose ball. So unless
Willop was offside, but he was running back away from the ball. He made no attempt to go for the ball at all. Wissa was clearly onside.
A strange decision. Liverpool with a free kick. 9 minutes to go. Newcastle 2, Liverpool 1. You're listening to Premier League Live. Kick-by-kick coverage of every single game this season by the team here. And we cannot wait for it. If this game's anything to go by, it should be another cracker. We wondered and waited to find out what Newcastle and Liverpool would look like. We have a bit more of an idea after today. Liverpool fans looking pretty nonplussed. Up, high up in the stand to our left here at St James's Park. Helped backwards toward Willock by Wissa. Liverpool have the ball with Allison, but going to make them take the free kick is Stuart Atwell. Well, Matthias Jaisel has won his first game at charge at all 3 clubs he's managed at prior to Newcastle United. Can he make it 4 in a row? Araujo away, McAllister volleyed forward. Frimpong's touch is good, it takes him into space, it takes him beyond Harvey Barnes. Out to the right from Munoz. Munoz looking to work past Hall, and Hall drags it out of play. Should be a Liverpool corner kick.
I think it's a goal kick.
And it looks like it's been given as a goal kick, and Hall made life very difficult for Ungamoa. He's doing exactly the same to Munoz.
He's had an excellent game, Lewis Hall. Most of those players in those black and white shirts have had good games today.
You'd be hard-pressed to pick out anyone that's played badly for Jaisel's side, or Jaislow's side, excuse me. At the feet now of Kirkes. Sideways to Araujo, can open up right-footed. Not a great deal of options ahead of him. Liverpool need a bit more of a sense of urgency at some point. They're being allowed to possess the ball in their own third, but it's not where it needs to be if Areola is going to avoid defeat in his first game in charge. He's got his own record to protect. He's 18 Premier League games unbeaten at the moment, off the back of his end this season with Bournemouth. Kirkes plucks it out the sky left wing, down the line to Gakpo. Gakpo, 30 yards out, drifting centrally, finds Kirkes again, waiting on the left, but Newcastle now come out and press with intensity. And as a result, Liverpool have to cycle it around their back line and try their luck up the right-hand side instead. Araujo. Szoboszlai. Virgil van Dijk. Guide into the left wing, a slow rolling ball meets the feet of Kirkes, but there is nowhere for Liverpool to go. And if you are going to defend deep, this is how you do it.
This is it. 2 banks of 4, the 2 in front. Force Liverpool wide.
They're trying to force a Liverpool cross, and a poor one. Frimpong might come up with it. Frimpong chipped in. Isak jumps. It's looping. It's straight into the arms of Hornacek.
Good play down the right-hand side to get Frimpong to the byline. He chips it up, looking for the back post. Isak rises, but it's just too high for him. He can't get over the top of it.
It's almost like Newcastle United are saying, our 2 centre-backs have won everything that's come into the penalty area all day. they're allowing Liverpool to cross and cross and cross, but you're not going to play through us.
They think they can handle those crosses, and unless Liverpool at some stage probably put Van Dijk up there potentially as a centre forward to try and get something out of the game, then you probably want to stop the crosses. But the two centre backs of Newcastle have been magnificent and have dealt with everything that's come in the box today.
Newcastle United 5 minutes plus stoppages away from opening day victory. Liverpool have been excellent on opening day of the last few seasons. It could get worse from here because it's pinged over the top to Wissa, who's in behind. Alisson saves smartly and needed to. Szoboszlai can turn, look upfield, he pings it long for the run of Munoz. Munoz gets there, he's bearing down on Botman. Victor Munoz on debut for Liverpool, but Botman lunges in front of it as Munoz tries to strike from the right-hand side of the penalty area. Crossed back in towards Kumas, guided back to McAllister. At the feet now of Kirkes, Murphy out to meet him. Frimpong joining in from right back, far side to where we're sat. As Munoz down the line and McAllister in the middle. Liverpool need answers. Who can provide them in red? Van Dijk, Gakpo on the left, already scored one today, Cody Gakpo. Crosses in this time, Munoz leaping for it, down goes Hall, and it's going to be a goal kick for Newcastle United, or at least a free kick.
Yeah, it's stupid from Munoz. The ball to the back post was probably over here anyway, but Munoz just barges into the back of Lewis Hall, gives away a free kick. Exactly what Newcastle would have wanted, just allows them to get everyone up the pitch, release the pressure.
Joosler sat down with his technical staff. They are all new, completely swept out the backroom. 6 new backroom as well, as Howe's men departed alongside Eddie Howe. Rebuilding Newcastle. They're calling it Newcastle 2.0. It's Newcastle 2-1 at the moment against Liverpool. Virgil van Dijk. Here is Kirkes up the line. Gakpo's touch was heavy, but it runs to the feet of Kumas. Kumas takes a touch round Murphy, chips forward to Kirkes in the penalty area. Chow's got defending to do, and he does it superbly. Malik Chow just steps across Kirkes and sees it trickle out.
It's actually really good play from Lewis Kumas initially, isn't it? He tries to dink the ball in behind, over the top of Dedic, looking for that space in behind Newcastle, but Chow just steps across and makes sure Kirkes can't get on the end of it.
Smashed long by Hornacek. Bouncing down to the feet of Bamba. One back though by Munoz, or Kumas rather, who's wriggling free up the right. It's the wrong side of Bamba. He's strong there as he tees up Frimpong, but Frimpong can't take it in stride. Hall sends it backwards to Ramsey. Ramsey took his time before teeing up Botman to clear long. Newcastle seem to think they can hang on to this. There's not a great deal going forward for them. There is an intensity about them defensively though. An intensity which Liverpool can't match.
Oh, they look like they've worked on it, certainly.
Loses out in midfield so sloppily, just dawdled on the ball before it was taken away from him. Willock, quite the opposite, surges forward with purpose. Harvey Barnes urged to shoot. Murphy, Jacob Murphy running at Kirkes, gets toward the byline, it's all the way through again. Second time in this second half that someone in a Newcastle United shirt has rolled the ball along the entire face of goal, which only needed a touch.
Yeah, no one gambling in the middle. Joe Willock's probably the nearest to it. Wissa's at the back post, doesn't make the run. Both of them hands on head. Can't believe it, but they have to make the run if they're going to get on the end of the ball.
McAllister robs Botman of the ball. And again, just wanted that more Newcastle United than Liverpool did. And those red players are cutting very frustrated figures as Isak and Chow have a little coming together off the ball. It's pantomime stuff at the moment. And Liverpool very much the villains for this St James's Park crowd. Gakpo robbed of it.
That's a foul.
And Van Dijk upends Wissa. It's all getting rather bitty. Newcastle United come away with Willock though. Pass to Araujo. Runs for Barnes. Wraps his boot through it. Blocked by Araujo. And seen away by Virgil van Dijk. Well, 2 or 3 instances there where Liverpool and Newcastle players came together forcefully in non-football related manners off the ball, and the crowd absolutely loved it.
And Newcastle were the ones who came out on top in virtually all of those duels, and that's been the case all the game, and that's why they're winning the game.
Well, the referee, Stuart Atwell's just got some information, and he's going to seemingly book someone. It's not made it clear who it's going to be yet.
I wonder if it was Van Dijk's challenge, potentially, that he allowed play to go on, didn't he? I wonder.
5 minutes of added time coming up at the end of this one. Newcastle United with a throw in the final third. Murphy, terribly done, thrown straight to Van Dijk. Last thing he wanted to do there. And Liverpool will bring it away with Koumas. Koumas driving forward, Isak for support. Might go alone here though. On goes Koumas, looking to shoot. Blocked well by Dedic. Just had no options there,
no.
The youngster.
Had to go himself, had the confidence to do it, tried to work the shot on his left foot. Excellent defending from Dedic, getting back.
And you said something earlier, Chris, they did it to a T there. They made the decision for the striker.
Yeah.
Their shape, the way they marked Isak and marked the cutback to Szoboszlai, they made the decision for Koumas. He had no choice but to shoot.
It makes it so much easier to defend when you can do that.
Szoboszlai to take the in-swing up from the left, right-footed. In it goes, the crowded 6-yard box, punched by Hornacek. Frimpong gathers the loose ball, shoots left-footed, Ramsey in the way. Here comes Murphy, trying to carry past Frimpong, and he has to just dribble it out of play with no room to manoeuvre. And he's very cleverly left the ball on the pitch there.
I think you should get a yellow card for that.
Clever or cynical, depending on which way you look at it and who you ask.
Very, very cynical, and the referee needs to take control of that.
And he stopped it just before it goes out of play. So Newcastle, or Liverpool rather, can't take their throw quickly. Here's Gakpo. Back to Szoboszlai, 25 yards out, down the left wing. Cody Gakpo again, gets round Dedic, scoops it in towards Van Dijk, now playing as a forward. Tells you everything you need to know about Liverpool's creativity between the lines today. Virgil van Dijk is playing up top alongside Alexander Isak. Here's Gakpo running the outside of Dedic, can't beat him. Dedic wins his battle again. Well, he was described as a man that Jijsla could trust. He played for him at Liefering, he played for him at Salzburg, he's playing for him at Newcastle, and he's playing very well.
He does brilliantly here. He just reads what Gakpo's going to do, gets his body in front of him, forces Gakpo to foul him. Excellent defending from the Bosnian.
All the anxiety, all the fear that had been building around Newcastle fans coming into this season. Where would they finish? Would they struggle? Would they surge down the table in the wrong direction? Is being released in optimism and goodwill, with a win set to take place on opening day if they can hold Liverpool out for another 2 minutes. And this place, given all that nervousness about the new season, will just about explode at the full-time whistle if they can hold on to this.
It will today. I mean, it's a big day for all these Newcastle fans, obviously celebrating what Kevin Keegan achieved here and what a great man he was. But to finish it off with a win would be what an opening for them.
Liverpool's task to spoil the party at the moment, to rain on the parade in the sunshine on Tyneside. Here's Kerkez, not been a good game for him. Maybe he can change that here. Guided down the line, left wing to Gakpo, up against Murphy, cuts in right-footed, scoop towards Van Dijk, still playing as a 9. Drops to Araujo, touch was inch perfect. Frimpong trying to cross, every black and white shirt back defending. Jeremy Frimpong for Liverpool, cuts back onto his right and onto his left, looking to cross. One touch too many perhaps. He's given away a free kick, and in the end Jeremy Frimpong has really let his teammates down there.
He had 2 or 3 opportunities to put the ball in the box, decided that it wasn't on, and eventually Harvey Barnes does the job and nicks the ball off him and gets the free kick.
Fabian Schär is going to come on for Yoane Wissa, who again, you can say this about anyone, has been outstanding for Newcastle United.
He's run himself into the ground.
Playing almost as a second striker, an old school centre forward behind the striker. And Yoane Wissa as Chris has just said to the left of me, has run himself into the ground today. He has covered every blade of grass, and he has provided a brilliant assist for Joe Willock as well. 15 seconds left to play. The Newcastle bench is up on its feet. They think it's a final. The fans are up on their feet. There is anticipation that they are going to start the Eisler era with a big, big win. Liverpool pushing on, Newcastle fans pushing for the whistle. Eisler wants it, scoop towards Van Dijk, drops to Munoz. Munoz in the penalty area. Lewis Hall's clumsy. Referee says penalty. The drama's not done at St James's Park. Lewis Hall has not put a foot wrong all day, but he put one big left foot wrong there and tricks Munoz in the penalty area.
There looked to me a penalty. He breaks into the penalty area. He leaves out. Oh, I'm not sure.
It's knee-on-knee contact. I don't think they'll overturn this.
I don't think they'll overturn it. I'm not sure. If it wasn't given as a penalty, I don't think they would give a penalty. But it was given as a penalty, and as you say, I think there's probably enough in it to not overturn it.
It's incredibly tight. It's sent long towards Van Dijk, the centre-back. It's headed away by Malik Chow. The ball then drops into the path of Munoz, who sprints forward into the penalty area. Lewis Hall looks set to commit his left foot to a trip, but as replay showed, Lewis Hall pulls his leg away to avoid tripping Munoz. When he pulls his left leg away, his knee still collides with Munoz. The question is the knee-on-knee contact enough for this to be a Liverpool penalty?
Oh, well, is it not enough for it to still be a penalty? Is what I think. If Munoz's knee had made contact with Lewis Hall and then he'd gone down, then I think that they would have overturned it. But I do think you can clearly see that Lewis Hall makes contact with the thigh of Munoz when he goes down.
Lewis Hall did attempt to pull his left foot away, but then his knee collided. And it looks like this penalty may be taken by Alexander Isak, but Szoboszlai has also come over for the ball as well. Isak's waiting at the edge of the 18-yard box. Harvey Barnes is chirping at Isak as if to say, so it's not you taking it, is it, mate? It will, I think, now be Dominic Szoboszlai to take. He has had a plethora of free kicks to ponder over. Now he has a penalty. He has missed one of his last 5 spot kicks for Liverpool to steal a point in the 98th minute on opening day and preserve Iraola's unbeaten record. Hornacek on debut, waits for Newcastle between the sticks, arms aloft, yellow shirt bouncing on the goal line. A short run up for Dominic Szoboszlai, angle to the left of the ball. Can he fire? Liverpool level, he does! Top corner, no doubt about it. Newcastle 2, Liverpool 2. Drama to the very end on opening day of this Premier League weekend. And Dominic Szoboszlai picks out the top left with a fierce drive from the spot.
He never looked like he was going to miss, did he? Coolest man in St James's Park. He's got such a good strike of the ball. He just steps up and he absolutely strikes it beautifully into the roof of the net. Doesn't matter how good the dive is from Hornacek, it's just pure pace that beats him.
He is such a pure striker of the football as Dominic Szoboszlai, and if the net hadn't been there, he might have put a hole in the stand there, Szoboszlai. He has rasped that in, and Lewis Hall covers his face with his shirt. Into the 100th minute now. The game is set to end on as even. Will there even be time to kick off? The referee will allow Newcastle United to do so, but that's about it. Hornacek sends it forwards, and the full-time whistle goes. A spectacular ending to a wonderful game, Chris, and Lewis Hall is virtually inconsolable down there. Ultimately, was it a penalty for you?
I think looking back at it, I think it just about was. I do think if it wasn't given as a penalty, I think it probably wouldn't have been given. But I think the decision was made by the referee, and I think they have to go with the referee's decision there, because there was enough contact there for it to stand. My question would be, we're at 99 minutes at the end, 100 minutes into the game. Only supposed to be 5 minutes added on, where that penalty would have been gone over added time.
It was certainly a game that rumbled on. I think the foul committed was about 94, and then all the sorting out maybe took us just beyond. But it was certainly a dramatic end to a brilliant game of football between Newcastle United and Liverpool. Newcastle will probably bemoan that fact long into the night. This game has a habit of late goals. The last 3 matches between these two at St James's Park, now 4, have resulted in the scoreline changing in the 90th minute or later. It was Ungamoa last year, it was Soberslai this year, and you only really feel devastated for Lewis Hall, who was probably one of the best players on the pitch today.
He was.
That he's the one that is having to be comforted by his teammates after that.
He is, but that's football, you know. As a defender, it takes one moment of just one slight lack of concentration, and that's what can happen, and that's why you know, the best players are the ones that can keep that concentration for 90 plus, almost 100 minutes, and could. He did well to pull his leg out of the challenge, but he still couldn't stop that movement towards the player.
My goodness, I feel like I'm back in July asking you a question about this with all the hullabaloo of England this summer. We were praising Newcastle United's defensive shape and the fact they set that back line so deep. In the end, it maybe has come back to bite them. Was it too deep too early, or do you think that's just how they want to play?
I think that's obviously how they want to play, but I do think it allows the opposition the opportunity to, you know, build attacks, to put balls into the penalty area, and to put themselves under pressure. And I just wonder if they can be a little bit more offensive rather than defensive as the game goes on when they're holding on to a lead.
Well, Newcastle United players are walking around the walls of St James's Park applauding the fans. A word on Liverpool then. Do you think that was a deserved point for them? And what have you made of that first game under Iraola?
I think they're still a work in progress, Liverpool, getting used to the tactics, how Iraola wants to play. I think Alexander Isak will have better days for sure, and will be glad to get away from St James's Park today. And it's a brilliant point from a Liverpool point of view, because I don't think they deserved it. I thought Newcastle on the day were the better team. They worked harder. They probably deserved to win the game. And had they been a little bit more clinical at the other end of the pitch, they might well have scored a third that would have put it beyond Liverpool.
Well, from me, Matt Drabble and Chris Perry, all that's left is to wish you a good evening and an enormous thank you for listening. Elanga got the scoring started early before Gakpo equalised. Willock responded almost instantly for Newcastle United, and then Soberslai's 99th minute pen stole a point for Liverpool away from home at St James's Park. It finishes here. Newcastle United 2, Liverpool 2. You've been listening to Premier League Live.